Hi, this is Kimberly. You know how I will sometimes say things like, I have no words, and then I'll go off on a 20-minute tirade without taking a breath? I think I have kinda lost my words for a bit. It's been hard to come up with some new shit to say, and I don't know, the world's just all weird and off kilter right now, and it's affecting me. But good thing I have this shit that I'm making a medley of, the damn bullshit. What is it? God damn it, I have CRS. The wrap it the hell up bullshit thing. You know what I'm talking about. But this lady today, after listening to the last one, she asked me if she said torrents. And then I think she meant Tourette's. I actually have a cousin that has that. And when he gets his tick going where he starts screaming out swear words and stuff, we all just act like nothing is happening when he does this thing. If you look at him, it makes him embarrassed, and then he gets worse. He lives in a small town and it's kind of rural, so when he goes into the restaurants around there, they know where to seat him, in case somebody comes in with their kids or whatever. But I've often thought it would be fun to pretend that I do have Tourette's. But goddamn, fuck, shit, damn, cocksucker, go to hell in a fucked up handbasket. Do you think I'd come across as believable? That would be one way to ensure social distancing. Not to punch someone because they got too close to you, which is what one bitch in New York did. She was in the hospital, I guess in the emergency room, and this poor old 87-year-old woman was walking down the hall and grabbed onto a metal railing to steady herself, and she got too near this bitch, and the bitch slapped her and punched her, and she fell to the ground, hit her head, and died. What the fuck? You're already at the hospital. You know sick people are there. If you have that COVID-19 shit, then what is the panic of someone getting too close to you? And if you're there for another medical reason, you know in advance you're going to be surrounded by COVID clusterfuck. Your chances are high of being near someone with it. So put yourself in a goddamn giant trash bag with a straw for your air hole before you come in. Goddamn, take care of yourself. These nurses and doctors are busy and shit. You already know coronavirus is widespread. It's prevalent, pervasive, it's rife, rampant, epidemic, universal, global. Get a goddamn hold of your shit. Get yourself an automatic air freshener thing and switch out the air freshener with Lysol. Just carry that shit around you and let it spritz the air like every 15 minutes or something. As of today, and it's probably changed by now, but this was as of a couple of hours ago, the global cases of COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. The worldwide cases are more than 766,000. Global deaths are at least almost 37,000. U.S. cases currently are nearing 154,000, and then U.S. deaths are at least 2,828. That data was compiled earlier today by Johns Hopkins University. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading illness. Staying at least 6 feet away from other people lessens your chances of catching COVID-19. If people are getting too close to you for your comfort level, walk around with an extended 6-foot tape measure. You can get one of those wooden ones, that you like to play with as a kid, or the metal ones, and just extend it out to 6 feet and just keep waving it around and shit. People will get out of your way, not get near you, believe me. Pick up some toxic behavior traits, such as obsessive negative thinking. It's very hard to be around people who refuse to let go of negativity. When they ruminate and speak incessantly about the terrible things that could happen and that have happened, the scorns they've suffered, and the unfairness of life, on and painfully fucking on and on. These people stubbornly refuse to see the positive side of life and the positive lessons from what is happening. Pessimism is one thing, but remaining perpetually locked in a negative mindset is another. Only seeing the negative and operating from a view that everything is negative and against you is a twisted way of thinking and living. Adopting this behavior is a surefire way of having space to yourself. In addition, display unbecoming, unsuitable, and offensive behavior. Be arrogant. Be bossy. Don't listen. Be jealous. Blame. Never take the blame for anything. Act impulsively. Gossip. Have lack of emotional control. Wear a t-shirt that is indelicate, crude, and unrefined. You can easily order custom ones cheaply through the internet. Some suggested messages of the information you would like to share on your t-shirt may keep other people away from you. T-shirts that say, "Keep your germ-infested hands away from my shit." Another one is, "Drink a big glass of shut the fuck up and stay away from me." And another one, "I work well with others when they leave me the fuck alone." And another, "It's now okay, desirable, and preferable to drink alone. I don't need company." And then another one, "I'm not antisocial. I'm just pro leave me the fuck alone." And another, "Hey, you there, fuck off, and when you get there, fuck off from there too. Then fuck off some more. Keep fucking off until you get back here. Then fuck off again." Another one, "You better back off unless you want your next period to come out of your nose." And lastly, "If I can punch you in the throat without moving my feet, that means you are in my personal space." You can use the tried and true method of shrieking at the top of your lungs and throwing shit at people to get them out of your space in short order, like if people are starting to crowd in your office because you're a mandated essential worker and it's getting on your nerves. Although one may wish to save this one for special occasions and when you've tried other things and nothing else will work. But I must say it is incredibly cathartic and usually makes a lasting impact of curbing another person's inconsiderate and reckless behavior of forgetting the societal disengaging rules. If you've gotten yourself tangled in an upcoming marriage that you want out of, now it's easier than ever. Blame it on the World Health Organization. They want everyone to disengage. Tell your fiancé, say, "We must disengage," per the World Health Organization. Also, one can fashion a hula hoop with suspenders to wear, and it keeps people perfectly at a comfortable physical and social distance. Maybe we should go back to wearing hoop skirts, but I don't know how that would work with driving a car. It would block vision and stuff, so nix that idea. Just do the hula hoop with suspenders. It's an easy on and off. So LL Bean is going to be using material from its dog beds to make medical masks. So now is the time to repurpose, reuse, and reinvent yourself. It's all the rage. 3M, the maker of Post-it notes and Scotch tape, they're also the maker of perhaps one of the most desperately needed medical supplies in the world right now, a face mask. If they're making face masks with Post-it notes and Scotch tape, there's a lot of kindergarteners not in school right now that could help with this project. Very eager workers. And California wants some Hot Lips, Houlihan, Nurse Jackie, Dr. McDreamy, Doctor Who, Dr. House types. You will earn a salary and be covered with malpractice insurance if only you go to California to help out with the COVID calamity. They want you even if you were a student, medical or nursing. They need you. And that's all I got for now. Please enjoy this next part in the Mash the Hell Up series. It starts off a bit somber, but then you know damn well that leads to the bitching and belly aching and griping crap. So take care of yourself. Much love and peace. Thank you for listening. Miss Lena starts the chapter with a warning. It states, "Before reading any farther, the reader should be warned that the content in this chapter is disturbing, that the events portrayed in this chapter are Chris's version of what happened. Chris has changed his story and contradicted himself numerous times, but this is the only account we have to go on, and in all versions of this story is beyond evil." I got so much procrastinating done the last couple of days. I spent a lot of time thinking about how I was going to do this chapter. This shit was hard. I wanted to skip it, but I can't. I said I would review this book, and I want to keep my promise. I've explained to y'all before, I don't quit my bad habits, and I ain't gonna quit this. "I can't quit you," a scene from Brokeback Mountain. I always misquote it, but my way is funnier. And to all of Chris Asshat Watts' versions of what the hell really happened that night, that day, I checked my receipt, and I didn't buy any of his damn bullshit. You know that feeling you get when you've been crying, and you take those quick involuntary breaths after you've finished crying? That's what I've been doing this whole time, thinking about this chapter and trying to prepare for it. Whenever I get like that, I put a brown paper bag over my mouth and I drink all the vodka inside. It seems to help. This video is not for everyone. I strongly recommend caution. But before I begin, I have one more thing to say of great importance. What are the words I'm looking for? Oh yeah, eat shit and die, 𝓲𝓲𝓷𝓭𝓵. That Liar Pants told to 𝓵𝓾𝓬𝓵 and 𝓵𝓸𝓮. With the extended and more sinister version, he allegedly told copycat cloning Cadle, scribe clusterfuck, aka Scribbles. But to be fair, what else do we know other than the shit the lying bastard has told us? She says that Fuckface was in her suitcase by the stairs, as though she was gonna go ahead up and take it up there, and then said, nah, fuck it. Well, needless to say, I checked Discovery and found it in 2 seconds flat. According to this book, Shanann undressed and put on a purple t-shirt, got into bed and began to caress Captain Chaos. Yeah, right. And she said to him, why don't you slip into something more comfortable too, like a coma? She didn't say that. That was me. And supposedly this led to sex for the first time since he had started playing sexual circus aerobics sponsored by 𝓬𝓲𝓵𝓂. I don't believe Chris and Shanann had sex, even though she had been pleading with him ever since North Carolina. But according to the chapter, they did the deed, and now I will read what lies he told in Wisconsin. He felt strange when he had sex with Shanann and questioned who he had become. Yeah, we had all been questioning that too, asshole. Or like you hit the push button on a bomb and it just blows up, end quote. Wow, asshat. Chris knew what he had to do to take care of the mess. The mess? You mean the confusion, chaos, muddle, jumble, disarray, turmoil, shambles that is your life? A huge problem or situation, also known as a clusterfuck, which you created, asshole. He was the one that made a mess. He's got 2 brain cells left. One's a liar and the other one's a fool. And that's all he has in there. And empty space. It's hollowness. With those 2 ineffective brain cells, they're dead. He's dead in his head. He became mad because his wife was not going to let him see his girlfriend anymore. That's not fair. He had become mad, irate, livid, and then berserk. And the madder he got, the more irrational and deranged he became. In his rabid state, he came up with the brain-dead idea of killing his family. He really does have bats in his belfry if he truly believed this asinine plan was going to free him to be with 𝓚 Cadle put in her book. I only saw a couple of letters, and he's a damn liar pants and she's a damn liar pants. So shit, we really don't know what happened inside that house. The letter he wrote to Scribbles seems to be authentic in that he wrote it, but the contents, they seem too outrageous to be true. Sounds like a bunch of bullshit, horse shit. bat shit, cat shit, dog shit. So I will read portions from the letter that Copycat Conundrum sold to the Daily Mail. I don't want to blather on about his desire to be in the ministry or his pipe dream of being released one day and shit of that nature that was also contained in the letter. Sure, asshole, how about this month, say February 31st? Does that work for you? The letter reads in part, I am a big fat goddamn liar. Oh wait, sorry. Those were my notes. Bullshit. I do not believe this. Both woke back up and at the same time? Don't give this lying piece of chicken shit credence. He's a pansy, and I mean no disrespect to the flower when I say that. I mean it as someone very pathetic and wimpy, one who lacks courage, one who is a girly man and sissy-like. 'Cause sometimes I change my mind on shit. But why? I don't know, something happened. Asshat said he laid Shanann on the ground there, or some dumb shit like that. Okay, two things. I don't see where, and didn't he take that back? Didn't he say, oh, I changed my mind on? Because what would be the point? I thought it would be easier to be with Nicole if Shanann wasn't pregnant. Well, probably you shouldn't have talked her into it, you dick. And if I've gotten any of this stuff wrong, y'all just let me know. I won't get mad or anything. I'll just be like, oh, okay, and then I'll block you. I'm just kidding. His inability to deal with the emotional problems all boiled to the surface. This shit that he comes up with does not make sense. He's never made any sense. Honestly, I don't know how Shanann put up with him all these years. And I don't believe he had the balls to tell her. That sounds very plausible. Yeah, we don't know that Shanann said this. She may very well have, but we only have a numbskull liar's version of events. Then he claims he became mad again. She would not let him see the kids. So he kills the kids. I mean, he just contradicts himself time after time. The book goes on to quote the plagiarist. Well, bully for you. Yeah, you're a big, strong bully. You didn't have to go from one extreme to the other, dimwit. Miss Lena says fuckface wasn't. He was angry about his own feelings of being out of control, and he was harboring a grudge about it. Were you also mad at Mommy, Chrissy? I think you were. She was the first woman to boss you around, and then you got all queasy inside when Mommy and Shanann would fight. Made you have a tummy ache, didn't it? And you and Papa Ronnie would do stuff like deleting everybody on Facebook and having an affair. Did Papa Ronnie ever have an affair? But yeah, CW felt like he never had any control, he says. Are we supposed to feel sorry for him? Because I'm not feeling it. There was no way he could face being the bad guy. He knew if word got out that he had cheated on his pregnant wife, everyone would look down on him, and that was not something Chris could handle. Shanann, what a dumb fuck. He's a bad guy. Chris asshat, fuckface, chicken shit, Chris and shit Watts is a dumbass halfwit, paralyzed from the neck up, and he has no grain in his silo. Yeah, it's Shanann's fault that you spent the summer ignoring your family while you and Nikolai did embarrassing, stupid, pathetic, ridiculous, and weird, creaky 𝓴𝓲𝓷𝓭𝓵 shady activity type things, and that your life had fallen into disrepair. Chris and shit felt like it was Shanann's fault. You know what I think? I think he liked not dealing with his family. I think it was a relief to have a break from them, have words and go for months without speaking to them. Shanann thought it was important to, even after the nasty blow-up over the summer. But, you know, she got crickets, silence, no response. It's Nimrod's misplaced anger. In his mind, it was Shanann's fault. He had cheated on her and put him in this mess. Yeah, that's kind of the way he thinks. Or perhaps she was just exhausted from her weekend and the whole summer, and you acting like a dick. And she describes it in shocking detail in the book, which I will not repeat it here. We all know what happened. Not exactly, but we all know he strangled his wife that loved his stupid ass so much. At around 4:30 that morning, and I'm wondering, was Mrs. Roussick's spiritual connection on East Coast time? If so, that would be 2:30 Mountain Time. They're 2 hours behind. I'm not being a smartass, I'm just asking. There's a 2-hour difference. Roussick got out of bed in a cold sweat and heard a whisper in her ear that said Shanann, or was it Shannon, as her parents call her. Fine, and patted her gently. How does Miss Lena know this, that he patted her gently? I don't remember the Dr. Phil show completely, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. He told her she was being paranoid, but Fuckface McGee decided he would stage the home to make it look like she left him and took the girls. And that sentence ended with a comma in the book rather than a period. Just saying, I'm still on the ball. But that took the focus off this last part. Let me read it again. Oh, please. Is this what she thinks Asshat thought, or the rest of the world would think? Either way, Fuckface is not that smart to think that, and no one else thought that shit, not even for a split second, except Cindy Watts. No one else believed she, quote, ran off, except for Mr. and Mrs. Paparani Watts. I wish she had thought to run off. She should have packed a bag and ran to the nearest women's shelter. And the ridiculous story continues. Belle and Cece just so happened to appear in the doorway, and then, well, I just have to read this part. Part of the story seems far-fetched to many, and I just would like to make this clear. That was not me talking. I was quoting what Miss Lena had in the book. I don't believe that crap. Makes no sense to me. To protect myself, because I hate the thought of them going on a 45-minute ride just full of terror with the man that's supposed to protect them when they're scared. Fuck him. Maybe it did happen. Anything is possible, but it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit to me. I think when he was in his jail cell, he was bored. When they had him on lockdown and suicide watch and all that shit, all he had was his damn imagination, and he ran wild with it. And then we have to relive this part again, of his inept ass trying to get Shanann down the stairs and dropping her, and the girls watching him drop her and bump her down the stairs. And she is witnessing her mother being dragged down the stairs wrapped in a sheet. Wouldn't she be hysterical? They couldn't even talk on the phone or FaceTime with her when she was out of town because they would become inconsolable. They were very attached to Mommy. Every time she's sitting down there in her lap, there's picture after picture after picture of that. Even Dieter, the four of them sitting together. And then Asshats made sure he separated them all permanently. I just don't see this scenario happening as he tells it, but I have been wrong once or twice in my life, so hell, I don't know. But he don't know shit from Shinola. I'm back in the house to grab his lunch. First things first, after all. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich, Oreo cookies, and a Sunny D. A gas can, rake, and a shovel. How the fuck could he eat after all of this? Miss Lena called it astonishing. She says that on his way out he threw the book in the trash can. The book that Shanann had bought for Fuckface, called Hold Me Tight, as another effort to save their marriage. She had asked him to read it. Miss Lena says he threw it there as a way to insinuate Shanann was done and was leaving him. How does she know this is when he threw it away? Then he grabbed some garbage bags to cover her head and feet. This is hard for me. This is just so cold and callous. She says he then put the girls in the back with their feet dangling over their mother's body. Has anyone seen how small it is in the back of the truck? How is this possible? Asshat claimed to have left these things but supposedly Asshat put the girls in the back seat and they held on to each other. They were without car seats. I hope to God this shit's not true. I can't bear the terror and confusion they must have felt. CW has lied so much, I don't think he actually remembers what the fuck happened. So, Fuckface began his 45-minute drive and two terrified little girls in the back seat of his work truck. Couldn't he have dropped those girls off at the nearest fire station, hospital, police station, Walmart, anywhere? Or is he that fucking stupid to think his plan was gonna work? If the girls truly were alive, didn't he have time to think on the way there? It was a goddamn 45-minute drive. Fuck that idiotic cock and bull story about killing them twice. I don't believe it. How much better life would be if Liar's pants really did catch on fire. Just go up in fucking flames the second they open their mouth. And I can't effing believe what she said. Really? Skunk-like? How rude. That's just uncouth. Shanann was classy. I know asshat sees. Let me read this little gem again. That's really crass. Beyond rude. I'm at a loss for words. Can you believe it? So, she evacuated her bowels. Let's be mature about this. Saying that it was a skunk-like smell, that's something an 8-year-old would say out on the playground. Fuck out of here with that. Then put both Bella and Celeste in the back of the truck on the bench seat. Shanann was laying on the floorboard. He put a gas can in the back of the truck and felt like he could get rid of himself at the same time. God, I wish he would have. He should have. Or to be on this earth after what happened. That's the first intelligent thing I have ever heard him say. Excuse me, let me continue reading, but nothing seemed right that morning. All I can say is Chris and shit ended up on the back of the fucktard wagon, fell out into the dumbass ditch. I don't even know what else to say, and wondered if he could have saved the girl's life. Yes, he could have. You know what? Karma takes too long. I want to beat the shit out of him right now. It's pretty obvious to me that this dude is dumb as shit and useless as fuck. This part makes no sense. I just want to kick this asshole in the face repeatedly, wearing a stiletto heel and a combat boot on the other foot. Take turns alternating. With regard to what he was thinking at the time, Fuckface said I wasn't. Naturally. Jerk off. If I was thinking this wouldn't have happened. He is one sick motherfucker. Really? Fuck that shit. What Never Land was he living in? Consequently, Chris Watts found himself in a state of fucked upness. The quandary of being surrounded by totally fucked up shit that you created and being only moments from having to deal with law enforcement because of your dumbass, insane, bizarre actions. It's this ridiculously painful chapter. Fuckface just needs to be put to sleep. God, I hate this and I hate him. I hated this fucking chapter. He's a jack-off, fuckface, Vaughn, clown stick, pompous prick, biscuit, butterface, douche, pilot, tone-deaf, fuck, clown dick, weed, stupid, fuck, dragon, lazy turd, pirate, pie-eating, dick, goblin, slutty, shit, hammer, fuck, trumpet, piss, slap, shit bag, cock-nose, prick, bastard, jackass, fuck off, fuck nut, fuck nuts, punk-ass, brainless, blinker, cockalorum, snollygoster, ninny hammer, pillock, bitch face, jerkwad, shitface, ball, sharp as a ball peen ham, lick spittle, mofo, dumb as a stump, ass muncher, slow-witted, knitting with only one needle, dumber than fungus. Some people should be dipped in Vagisil, then they wouldn't be such irritating twats. Dumber than dog shit. I hate you so much I would unplug your life support to charge my phone. The last time I saw something like you, I flushed it. I bet your brain feels good as new, seeing that you never use it. You're useless as a glass hammer, useless as a screen door on a submarine. You know, when I said Chris Watts is, I had this really strong urge to start blurting out swear words. So, today's vocabulary word is enigma. Keep that in mind. But yes, that would be our Chris Pinhead, asshat, chicken shit Watts. This is the chapter I've been waiting for. No more regurgitating discovery. I'm going to attempt to explain Chris Watts to us. Can it even be done? We are but mere mortals, and he's not one of this earth, I think. I must admit, I was thrown out with Nicole Atkinson pissing off Lunkhead by setting off his house alarm and calling and texting him over and over, and calling the police for a wellness check. But no, I was surprised by a completely different angle. That shithead is an enigma. Yes, unless he was just that talented at hiding what a deeply horrible piece of shit he was and still is. Ruh-roh, shit's about to get fancy. He seemed to be happy with life and the way it went. Shanann being the mommy, and he liked that Bella and Cece let him be the daddy when they played together. 𝓿𝓲𝓷𝓭 let him drive a big truck and play outside all day in the field. They even told him he could boss around people, but he was too timid for that. He told him, Shanann's real bossy, can she come up here and do it? And they said no. He didn't like it when people told him no. It made him really, really mad inside, but nobody knew. He just kept smiling. He was like, okay, that's perfect, thanks. So he ended up with more work to do and having to stay late until everybody was finished. But they even let him drive his big truck home every day. He liked all that. He was helpful and never showed any rage and avoided any kind of trouble at all costs and was agreeable, likable, kind, and conflict averse. Yeah, he was happy until Nikki Empanada told him that no, he wasn't. There is so much more to life than you have experienced. Stuff like anal sex and the Great Sand Dunes and the very diverse menu at Lazy Dog Restaurant and talking about pretty rocks until his eyes glazed over. Tell me, Nikolai, have you ever been to Punta Cana? How about San Diego or New Orleans or Canada? Experienced the joy of having a baby, of moving cross country? He experienced all kinds of shit with Shanann, years of it. They had a shit ton of firsts together. Plus, she was classy and stunningly gorgeous. Oh yeah, and she washed her hair every day. But I see myself veering away from the chapter at hand. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess this is the Bible for those that treat people who are not mentally sound. So I was right about the Bible thing. The thing that worries me is the author saying the other fascinating aspect of Chris, if he did not outwardly fit the profile of any diagnosis available in the DSM-5. Great. How the hell are we going to warn others now? Oh. Brother. Okay, cool. A psychopath, family annihilator, or narcissist isn't enough, end quote. I'll say I've used many words to label him. Dozens, hundreds, probably thousands. Still, I could go on and on and on, but with more understanding of how they come to happen, I hope we can learn to prevent some, end quote. Yes, please, we all want that. Let's read that again, just so we understand. It certainly was his damn fault. He disrupted and destroyed countless lives, accountable for his dumb shit actions and thoughts that he felt the need to make a reality. Why? Because he's a dumb fuck. Someone who gets easily confused and fails to use common sense when necessary. Someone is so fucking stupid you want to meet their parents so you can pour hot grease on their face. A person is so incredibly stupid that it's not even funny anymore. Someone whose head is small and shaped as a peanut and is as thick as shit, and inside there is a tiny little pea. That's their brain. Inside their peanut head is a pea brain. Oh, and their parents always named them Chris Asshat Watts. Miss Lena stresses that she is not diagnosing the ass-face pinhead, citing the Goldwater rule that are similar to piss-face, because, quote, sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones we least expect, end quote. Exactly. We need to know how to spot these sneaky, underhanded, shifty, deceitful, devious, disingenuous, crooked assholes. Some disorders that Nimrod displayed. He has a personality. She says it's important to understand all the subtypes of narcissism so we can put up a wall and then run like the wind. But then she doesn't explain it. It's a new kind of narcissist. Why do we need more narcissists? I thought minimalism was in. And why am I doing my own research? She wrote a goddamn book, not me. Anyway, I did do my own research. I like investigating and studying new shit so I can draw conclusions and do that surmising stuff that Miss Lena does, where she surmises too. It makes me feel all highbrow and scholarly and shit. Remember, next time you are caught snooping, call it research and exploration. It'll make it all respectable and stuff. Search found. a typical narcissist. I deserve special treatment because I am exceptionally smart. I am an expert on almost any topic of conversation. A communal narcissist, however, may reason this way. Special treatment because I'm extraordinarily warm-hearted, trustworthy, and helpful. Everyone feels at ease telling me all of their problems, end quote. And wow, remember when Fucktard was talking to Mr. Coder? That is basically what he said right before and after saying that he wasn't a monster. He was as cross as two sticks with Mr. Coder. He was like, I am not a monster, and he looked all indignant and shit. He said it the same way President Nixon said that he wasn't a crook. Yes, you are, fucktard. You are literally the stuff children's nightmares are made of. Everyone's nightmares. Not only are you a spine-chilling, loathsome, sinister, heinous fucking monster, you're also a wanker, brute, prick, you moron, dick, son of a bitch bastard, douche kebab, Nimrod, lame fiend, douchebag beast, ogre, devil, demon, barbarian, savage, villain, sadist, animal, twit, douche, bird brain, boogie, emotional, fuckwittage, blowhard, sit face, weirdo, squeezebag, wacko worm, ugly shit stain, shyster, ass twerp, troll face, swine, son of a motherless goat, sack, shit sack, sewer rat, ruffian, riffraff, worm, earwax eating, pain in the ass, man, bastard, swine, pig, you piece of shit, damn you all to hell and back, fuck off, piss off. In the words of 𝓼𝓲𝓷𝓭𝓵, God Almighty Son. To get back to the topic, before I deviated just a wee bit, let us examine. Sounds like a load of horse shit to me. This makes sense. He's on a mission to be a prison minister or preacher or whatever that sack of shit he told copycat 𝓬𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓭𝓵. He probably pictures himself as the next Joel Osteen or Billy Graham, for God's sake. It's how magnificent and shiny and sparkly and fun and thoughtful, you know, you get it, that they are. They are happy and willing to fulfill the needs of others. They devote their lives to helping others. They are pompous and selfless martyrs. And they are highly introverted, even vulnerable narcissists. These individuals feel they are more temperamentally sensitive than others. They react poorly to gentle criticism and need constant reassurance. Yep, Shanann was constantly praising him and stroking his ego, even publicly, on Facebook Live. Important skills that we all need to know, according to Miss Lena, is communicating feelings and resolving conflict in a healthy way. She wishes this was taught in school. Wholeheartedly agree. Kids graduate high school. They can solve a geometry problem or even calculus, but they can't resolve a real life problem. They don't know how to budget money, write a check, iron a shirt, scramble an egg. The least we can do is warn and teach them about all the different varieties of narcissists. Well, that just sounds too hard for this half-wit. The solution he came up with was to kill his family and start anew. And again, to paraphrase 𝓼𝓲𝓷𝓭𝓵, he hauled off the bodies or something. God Almighty, son. Common sense is so rare these days, it should be classified as a superpower. As one with common sense, I feel the first step is to identify the problem. Allow me. Chris 𝓵𝓗 is the fucking problem, and I wish to identify him as a problem child. There. I have identified the problem. He got into trouble and the grown-ups were obligated to put him into timeout while they cleaned up the disturbing turmoil and mess and annihilation. And we are still obligated to care for him even though we don't want him anymore. Therefore, again, he's a problem child. Miss Lena wonders if this could have avoided if Chris had had healthier coping mechanisms and if he knew there were pro-social ways. What the hell does that even mean? I need it in layman's terms. The damn dark side. Was he always dark? Perhaps this is why he was drawn to that dreadful heavy metal. Oh my God, that stuff gives me not only a damn headache but anxiety. The screeching and the yelling and the banging of the music. But some people say that about orchestra music or something, you know. Since the author did not explain it, then I of course will. Still don't fucking understand it, but okay, so where is the story of Chris Watts from birth to adulthood? Did she get a memo that we didn't? I've been dying to know his childhood story. Are we gonna get it? I feel that's where many of the answers lie, but she keeps blathering on about other stuff, like the people on social media presenting their relationship as all sparkly, all the while private messaging her for help. Then jabbers on about Shanann and the story she has told of meeting her Chris, how she was down in the dumps in a dark place, had health challenges, divorced, and he came in at that time, and I'm waiting for her to tell us all this shit she promised about Asshat. She has alluded to knowing his story from birth to adulthood, but I don't believe it. That fuckface presented himself to Shanann in such a way that she thought he was good husband material. Miss Lena said that because of what fuckface did, that it's caused some women to give their innocent, gentle, and loving husbands the side-eyed. You know what I mean. Now, the levels of hostility can vary in intensity towards this other person. Sometimes side-eye is followed up with dirty looks, eye-rolling, an icy glare, and/or a lingering look of contempt or disdain. This is also known as a loaded glance. If done properly, it can strike a fear into the person and let them know that if they choose to continue whatever stupid shit they're doing or saying, that you may have to consider striking down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. So yeah, all these husbands and boyfriends and fiancés are catching hell because of the dumb shit he did. I disagree. Maybe at first it was this way, but let's not forget. Just a fun little fact. I lived in Westminster, Colorado in the early to mid 80s for 4 years. That makes me practically a friend of Shanann, even though that was around the time she was born in New Jersey, but still, you know, how happy she is and everything's just all perfect and shit. She's lying through her teeth. Here, I'll go ahead and play it on this screen while I yammer on and just look at her. Look at her face, her eyes, even though she's talking about how great her job is and how happy she is. Her eyes and her expression aren't saying the same thing. But we all know how that turned out. Didn't have to. All he had to do was act like a mature adult. And instead of deleting the friend request, she should have deleted her Facebook account in its entirety. And then she should have ran for the goddamn hills. God almighty, son, that's all I can say. Quote Papa Ronnie over and over and over. Please know this is not me. I'm quoting Shanann. No way in hell I'd be saying all that lovey-dovey bullshit. Okay, so this is me now. I can see how a colonoscopy could be considered a date. In some instances, you know, when you go to Six Flags or Disney and you get a picture of the adventure as a keepsake when you come off a ride and they show it to you and all that. Well, my doctor came out, you know, at the end of my colonoscopy when I was coming to, and he had 2 or 3 8x10 glossies for me to take home. Really nice, clear, well-lit pictures of the inside of my colon. I don't know what to do with them. I wonder if she gave one to Chris to commemorate their date, you know. Cricky was all into sticking things in the anus, so that might have been a fun date idea for them as well, if Pinhead hadn't gotten arrested for murdering his family. Or another fun idea for a date for Cricky is they could stay in and then stick a camera and a flashlight up each other's butt. Them away time and time and time again. But when I cancel dates last minute, because that's how life is with my health challenges, you cancel things at the last minute, and it's hard for people to get. I can attest that this is true, what Shanann said about that. But he stuck around, and he stuck around because he's the one for me, and he is amazing, and I can't tell you how wonderful he is, end quote. Then the author tells of Mother's Day and how CW, quote, Chris framed all the important dates in their lives, their wedding day and the respective birthdays of their family. He included homemade picture frames decorated by the girls, Bella's was a photo of Chris and the girls, and Cece's frame had a photo of Shanann and Cece in it. Both photos were full of embraces and smiles, because they were just happy, happy, happy. They were in hog heaven. Oh, and Mr. Perfect Husband started the affair with Nikki about a month later. But if you have watched the first in the Unmasking Nicole Kessinger series on true crime in Colorado, you may speculate that they had been carrying on longer than they said. I do think it just heated up to boiling over because, you know, when they were left to their own devices over the summer, they turned into teenagers, unsupervised teenagers. And I think they became sexual a day or two after Shanann and the kid them. I wonder if Nikki had seen Shanann going on and on and on about what perfection Pinhead was at both being a husband and a father, and Nikki was like, cool. She thought it was an advertisement. Many people get confused on social media about what really is or is not an ad. It's a thing. It really is. Cricky is proof that evolution can go in reverse. Why can't they just have like a psychiatrist or some sort of mental health professional that goes around like Super Nanny does in her car, and she comes around the corner really fast and stuff, and then she goes in and she fixes the parents and she fixes the kids and everybody has a happy ending and all that bullshit. Well, too bad Miss Lena can't go knocking on doors and, you know, hit this shit, nip it in the bud before it blows the hell up. Case of a narcissist or a bumbling idiot such as Chris Asshat was. You're just shit out of luck. That's what she's saying. This chapter disappointed the hell out of me. The beginning suggested she was going to give us her professional opinion. Where is it, damn it? Did I miss it? I'm being serious. I got happier than a unicorn eating multicolored cake on a rainbow. I'm like, where did you find out about this? Let me pull up a chair. Let's pop some popcorn. And then, did I overlook it? Did I miss that too in the chapter? Morphed into a creature she didn't know. Ladies, if your partner refuses to tell you what their beef is, they need to go away and leave you the fuck alone. They've basically told you they want to split anyway. There, I said it for Miss Lena. Some people are just really good at lying, and there aren't going to be any signs. End quote. Well, goddamn, thanks. Thanks for nothing, goddammit. Well, damn, let me do it. If your partner is a helpful, agreeable doormat, then all of a sudden stops doing all of that shit and turns into a giant asshole douche that you no longer recognize, then that is a red flag. Wave your white flag and surrender the marriage. Grab your shit and run like a bat out of hell. Wipe your hands of them because you're done. Miss Lena tells us that diagnosis is not always simple, and they can't put people into neat little boxes. Then she makes a cutting comment about our current healthcare system and states that she could write a whole nother book on that shit. And that's where the chapter ends. Boom, done. Say what? I feel cheated and bewildered. I'm gonna need some psychotherapy myself when I finish this book. God almighty, son. What'd you do? Haul off the bodies or something? I researched most of this shit for this chapter. Miss Lena babbled on about psychology and or psychotherapy stuff and got me all excited for nothing, thinking we were about to hear from the time Cindy birthed a 10-pound baby monster. But no, she said believingly, and I believed. She broke my trust. I'm sorry, I felt the need to say something off color. I am acting out because I feel betrayed by Miss Lena. I am voicing my displeasure. I feel that I am communicating my feelings. I need you to validate my feelings. What in the hell kind of chapter was this? She kept talking about analyzing Pinhead and then didn't. So when are you going to construct your theory? I was led to believe it was going to be in this chapter. I'm waiting for the adjective-filled description of this perfect storm you speak of. I want to resolve this conflict in a healthy way. Holding in my sarcasm physically hurts, but I've restrain myself because I have been told that I'm a bully and that I tear apart everyone in my chapters. You know, I was raised to not act out in public, but the title about CW being an enigma, so is this chapter. It's an enigma. It's definitely a head scratcher. Or maybe I'm overtired. That damn insomnia has been a bitch lately. And let's use today's vocabulary word in a sentence. This chapter was an enigma. I hope the hell it made sense. I feel a bit jumbled up myself. Before I go, I just want to say, which one of you cocksuckers complained about my goddamn swearing? Oh, I have the wrong notes again. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. I'm overtired. I'd not been sleeping good. But sometimes I'll just spend an entire afternoon reading the comments and blocking people. I'm just kidding. I only block somebody that's an asshole, whether it be to me or somebody else. And I don't always see all the assholes, so feel free to point it out if I miss something. We don't need that shit 𝓵𝓱𝓪𝓷𝓭𝓵 begins to give her insight into piss face. Let's make a sentence. I think Chris and shit felt a sense of entitlement to having a fresh new start in life now that he had learned a lot of shit from Shenanigans. Let's make a sentence. During the last few weeks of Shenan's life, the texts exchanged with her brain-dead husband made it glaringly clear that he had empathy impairment. And now on with it. Well, I asked for it. Last chapter I was bitching. I mean, of course I was, but I was going off because Miss Lena, and I was like, and then she doesn't explain it. Well, now she does. Dear Miss Lena, thank you. I stand before you today, hat in hand, and profusely apologize for not being patient. I am much obliged, ma'am, and I'm sorry I was a bitch. I can't help it sometimes. However, not only is it a personality shortcoming, but many seem to find my bitchiness as a source of amusement. Not that I'm making excuses, mind you. Well, perhaps I am. Never mind. Respectfully yours, with sincerest gratitude and kindest personal regards, Kimberly. But before we get started, I want to share an alarming video I uncovered of fucktard eating his own earwax. Yes, I'm not kidding. I was like, no, someone is pulling our leg. But no, watch. I will link the channel that I got it from. I'm not sure if they were the first to discover this, and I shaved it down just so you see the unsettling, revolting, and stomach-turning parts. I usually skipped over those parts where he was just sitting there with his own dim-witted mind. Maybe we should go back and study all of these bits. But now that I've apologized to Miss Lena and shown that Chris and shit really is an earwax-eating piss face, let's go on with come into play later on. Go ahead and get your pajamas on, a snack, and a beverage of your choice. Go on, I'll wait. I'll not do any whining and bitching or enter into a state of going offness without you. We have a lot to cover. Ready? Ready? Okay. Oh my God, this was a long as hell chapter, and it was tedious. There was too much information, details, and explanations. My head was just full. I didn't really care to learn about all kinds of mental illness, just the one that Fuckface has. But I do appreciate the explanations, don't get me wrong, as I do believe many will find it helpful, including myself. I just wasn't expecting a condensed college course. I feel like I was reading a textbook. This shit's supposed to be fun. I just wanted her to tell me what the hell is wrong with that dumb bastard. Every single kind of narcissist known to man. Holiday gatherings and things like that. You know, when you're going to be meeting up with your crazy ass family. Experts, including Dr. Phil, have stated that they believe Fuckface to be a sociopath and or malignant narcissist. Miss Lena says it is certainly possible, but wants to explore all of the possible diagnoses, and so she does. We scrutinize and consider all potential types of crazy or sociopath. She says these words are thrown around interchangeably and appeared outwardly normal, had what they term moral depravity, no sense of ethics, the damage they do to society. Now that's very interesting. I do appreciate that she's giving us this information, and yeah, I'm like sucking up and trying to kiss her ass because I was rude last chapter, but I'll do that sometimes. My mouth just starts running and I can't stop. I tend to use the term psychopath for those that are really fucked up in the head. I mean that have more serious disorders coming from genetic traits, a result of their environment, usually their shitty upbringing. So one made by Cindy. I mean their mom and or a dad or whoever the hell raised them fucked up in their head. Some like to complicate it further by breaking it down into primary psychopaths who are thought to have inherited a fucked up gene, and secondary psychopaths seen more as a fucked up product of their environments. Nice going, parents and guardians, your peers. Sociopathy. Damn it, I mean sociopathy. And I'm gonna mispronounce this shit the whole way through, so I apologize. Thank you, amen. Can be thought of as something harshly wrong with your damn conscience. So this is what is fucked up. Your sense of right and wrong, your morals, your principles, ethics, scruples, and that little voice that everyone has. Yours is evil. Psychopathy is a complete lack of conscience regarding others. This is an even worse version of being fucked up. Your conscience isn't fucked up. You just don't have one. You are insane, have mental illness, you're deranged, unbalanced, crazy, manic, demented, unsound lunatic. Must have problems with not only yourself, but in relating to those around you. I would imagine those go hand in hand. If one is having challenges with themselves, how the hell are they going to be able to not annoy others and not get on their nerves with unwanted behavior? You can count yourself as having antisocial personality disorder, ASPD, if you do 3 or more of these things. Breaking the law, being a liar pants, fly by the seat of your pants, fight, quarrel, being hostile and belligerent, don't give a shit about safety, just in general don't give a shit or don't give a fuck. You're careless and reckless and irresponsible, including with money. You don't give a shit, and you have no fucks to give. You just don't feel remorse or guilt about any damn thing. I would venture to say that at times we all have some of this antisocial personality disorder of which Miss Lena speaks on a sporadic and unfortunate incident, or is that just me? That's very interesting of roles. And then she goes on and on about Jeffrey Dahmer was one. I couldn't even watch the news when they came on to talk about him. I still get queasy when I think about it, so please, I just can't with Jeffrey Dahmer. I've never delved into the Jeffrey Dahmer nightmare, and I never will. So if you're hoping I'll go there one day, no, I won't. I promise you. It's just not gonna happen. And then there's this thing, and if someone rates over 30 on the test, they are said to be psychopathic. You can easily find this test online if you want to see if you're psychopathic or not. I just don't even want to go there myself. I think we all are, just a tiny bit. And then I found myself getting bored and yawning. I don't want to learn about every mental illness out there. I'm not trying to be rude again, but I am rude at times. I want to find out about Chris and shit, and a little about 𝓚 and then Cricky as a whole, plus Shanann, of course, too. And while we're at it, Cindy and Paparani. Our next nutcase is narcissists. People throw around the word self-important and taking selfies all the time and doing the me thing. Wow. I'm just thinking of somebody that's in a very high, they fly off the handles, believes he or she is special and can only be understood by other special people. Unreasonable expectations, shows arrogant behaviors. Yes, we all know at least one at awkward social occasions. Just Let me know in the comments if you too are a narcissist, and if you are, which kind. There are lots. Passive, aggressive, overblown visions of themselves and their future. Dreams, for example, of one day being discovered for their remarkable as their inflated egos. Feel I'm temperamentally different from most people, very alone and uneasy. These two statements seem like things pinhead narcissists are addicted to feeling special and unique. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get their high. 𝓲𝓲𝓪𝓷𝓴 was special. He was that kind of special that means not altogether mentally intact, meaning he ain't eating with both chopsticks. He's the most helpful, caring person in the room. Yep. Pinhead, things only to get affirmation and admiration, generosity, and let you know about all the selfless work they've done. But it is also possible that they are covert and won't brag about their good deeds. They thrive off of exploitation, doing whatever it takes to feel special, regardless of the cost to those around them. Entitlement, acting as the world owes them and the impairments, becoming so fixated on the need to feel special that other people's feelings cease to matter. At the end of the spectrum, we find narcissistic personality disorder, and herein lies the answer to the question. Built into the definition of NPD is manipulation, exploitation. The more severe the disorder, the more likely the exploitative style is to become abusive. That means, quote, anyone with NPD can become abusive over time, and abuse is dangerous. Disordered narcissists, those with NPD, can be calculating about hiding their abusive side, whether they're extroverted, introverted. The next part is called born with a bad brain. I'm guessing 𝓲𝓲𝓪𝓷𝓴 was born with one of those bad brains. And then I was horrible at science, so I need to skip over this part talking about neuroimaging right in. All of this shit started reminding me of science class and nearly passing out in 7th grade, being forced to dissect a frog. I can still smell that formaldehyde. I just can't with this part of the chapter in the book. It's too deep. God almighty, son, just let's carry on. Heritable. See, guys, this shit, it's too much. And I don't know how to put it in my own words. I'm doing a lot of quoting here. I'm just gonna skip over that last part. Can't we just say that the wheel's still spinning but his hamster is dead? I mean, shit, that would say so much. Never mind. Nay, that is crazy. The problem is that, in other words, you cannot escape crazy. Not to jump to place blame on parents when their child does something awful. Yeah, but what about those interviews Cindy Watts did? They scream dysfunction. Issues that are already there. Y'all hang with me, okay? Which is contradictory to what we really think about it, you know, that they just love themselves, but they really don't. It's obvious. They hate themselves. Now, this is interesting. We're a person void of empathy. In order to manipulate people and get them to like you, you must become really good at convincing people you are nice, kind, and generous, 𝓲𝓲𝓪𝓷𝓴 Watts. Against a cold and unempathetic parent, usually the mother, Cindy Watts. Oh, wait, that was from my notes. Usually from the mother, period. Then Miss Lena talks about overindulgent parents that constantly praise their children into being another kind of narcissist. I'm gonna name it myself. I'll call it a snowflake. That's my professional term, not Miss Lena's. It had nothing to do with Pinhead's upbringing. I just wanted to throw it out there. I'm bored. I'm trying to entertain myself. Are y'all still there? You know, and in case y'all aren't there, I'm just going to babble on to myself for a second. All these people are telling me that I'm negative and shit. This case is not all about sunshine and roses. I cover true crime. What the hell do you expect? God, some people are just stupid. You know what I miss? I miss being able to slam down a phone when I'm pissed off and, you know, want to end the call. Just pressing the end button just doesn't do it for me. Miss Lena said I have to get back to it. Are psychotherapy, sociotherapy, and narcissism treatable? Turns out this is a controversial topic. Some don't have a problem, and they know better than anybody else anyway. Then they are convinced that once the therapist hears what the hell is going on, that they will say that the partner is the problem. Of course, Chris Watts refused to go to counseling with Shanann. He's dumb, so he didn't know what it was. I'll see if I can find that. But the truth be known, this chapter has worn me the hell out. Convince themselves that they have won me over with their charm, that they were lying the entire time, depending on how fucked up they are. But it is no easy matter. Quote, "Wow, I had no idea one could teach empathy. Is it real then? The compassion and understanding? It seems like it would be something they could mimic, like Fuckface did, but there's still an empty shell. A vacant parking lot, a nothing, dried up house plant, an abandoned building, running on empty, an empty vessel. It's superficial. It's a futile attempt to disguise the true you. I don't believe this can be done. It's like with good looks, beauty or handsomeness. You've either got it or you don't. Oh, you could go all Kim Kardashian and buy your looks and have them tweaked every other month, but the real you is still there. They've just slapped some lipstick on a pig." Wait a minute, isn't that empathy? The ability to understand and share the feelings of another? I'm glad I'm not a relation expert anyway. I'd not enjoy spending my time with people that have issues. I have enough of my own to deal with. They have all these fancy and elegant words to describe problems. Now, I love words, but these are depressing words. I like to be all happy and shit, despite the fact that I'm accused of being negative. Bullshit. Fuck that. I'm not negative. I'm a ray of fucking sunshine. So, Miss Lena teaches them a nicer, more polite way of still being all bossy and in charge and shit. But that'll make everyone around them on edge and waiting for the other goddamn shoe to drop. You know what I'm talking about. That asshole, oftentimes a boss, that usually communicates by hollering and degrading contemptible orders and insults. Then, all of a sudden, one day comes in and it looks like them, but it's not, and it's scary and shit, and everyone walks on eggshells anyway, trying to communicate with eye movement and silent mouthing, while trying to pretend this shit is normal. I have PTSD from some of that damn malarkey in the corporate world. I've seen it time and time again, where the corporate world orders someone to go get some anger management or something to that effect, and they come back all weird and they're still scary and intimidating. You're just waiting for them to blow. And now we have the narcissist in a romantic relationship. When a narcissist pursues and enters a romantic relationship, this is the beginning of a clusterfuck. You'll be on the receiving end of emotional turmoil and abuse from your romantic narcissist partner just because you fell in love with a bonehead jackass jerk. But please, take comfort in knowing that they have chosen you for their narcissistic supply. Sounds like any typical relationship to me. Without narcissistic supply, the narcissist is nothing. They just dry up and go away. So stop being their supply. They know what to say because they have figured out how to impersonate a real person. They are copycats, so it is no wonder he picked that other copycat to, quote-unquote, write a book of his letters. We all remember that bullshit. Pathetic, warm, and affectionate whims. At the beginning of a relationship, the narcissist will figure out their target. You all know that we're speaking of Chris Asshat Watts here, right? Okay, thanks. What they need and want is their narcissistic supply. This target has to be someone who is very empathetic. Shanann, this slip. They are all congenial and understanding and stuff. Very low point in their life. The first phase of a narcissistic relationship is the love bombing phase. Love bombing is when someone makes overwhelming and extreme romantic gestures in order to win someone over. End quote. They will shower you with over-the-top displays of affection, flirtation, etc. This kind of deception goes way beyond ass-kissing. Victims of love bombing often believe their person hedged when the love bombing stops. Yeah, Shanann was like, "What the fuck, dude?" So, was Mommy no longer meeting Chrissy's communal narcissistic needs? Miss Lena says love bombing is often a huge red flag. So what does the beginning of a romantic relationship look like then? Isn't everyone giddy and over the top at first? I think everybody has love bombed, right? It's that stupid giddy honeymoon phase. I mean, it's been a while since I met my husband, a damn long while. But I've watched a lot of Hallmark movies, so I know of whence I speak. It takes a long time to get to know a person well, which is why we date before we commit. Well, my husband told me the second time I saw him that he was going to marry me. Should I go and tell him that our marriage is over now because he love bombed me and told me prematurely that I was the one for him? At this point in our marriage, he would probably be like, okay, bye. Even, it's been frickin' 38 years now. Y'all, I'm getting tired. This is a long ass chapter. If anyone's still with me, please raise your hand, and God bless you. Once a narcissistic person feels more comfortable and that they've won you over, they'll start all the devaluing shit. All of a sudden they flip, and you're all like, what the fuck? Then to punish the hell out of you with the flip of a switch. Or then, out of the fucking blue, they are back, just as you knew them, all kind and sweet again. And then the next thing you know, it happens again. I think this is one of the reasons Chris was so drawn to Shanann in the beginning. I meant to say pinhead or asshat. Miss Lena has me calling him Chris. I don't like that. When Scribble and Chris and shit were lying to one another, Pinhead tried to put into words additional love you give this particular kind of asshole. It will never be enough for their narcissistic ass because you are just an object, a doodad, a doohickey, thingamajig. You're only there to fulfill their needs. Can't they get a blow-up doll, a chef, and a house cleaner? Since your needs do matter, this seems the less intrusive way to handle shit. You can hire people for anything. Best of all, you don't have to love people you hire. In fact, it's preferable one doesn't. A narcissist is almost always incapable of real love, so perfect partnership. However, one that has been hired, unfortunately, cannot escape the final phase in the narcissistic relationship, the discard phase. You will be cast aside like a used condom is exactly what Pinhead Halfwit did to Shanann. There may be two sides to this story, but he is still a disloyal, mean-spirited, selfish, egomaniac cheater. A narcissist may be able to find a new person from whom they can get supply, like Nikolai, who was prancing around the office singing, "My milkshake brings all the emotionally dysfunctional, selfish, narcissistic, alcoholics with mommy issues to the yard." Yeah, singing that shit. And that person, Nikolai, will seem more exciting. When a narcissist is done with you, they truly do not care anymore. As in, fuck all this shit. I'm done. Zero fucks do they care. And then Miss Lena asks, what is Chris Watts? Why, I'm so glad you asked. He's a shit-sack, honey badger, shithead, moron, useless tit, murdering monster, demon from hell, sorry ass, freak show nut job, horrible freaking evil bastard, dickwad, sick fuckhead, douchebagette, dog meat, shit-stained trash, adulterer, monstrous, self-centered scumbag, crybaby bitch, toxic, fucked in the head, dysfunctional, shitty enema, jackass, dingbat, smooth brain, dumb, shallow, ignorant, dinkster, dipshit, lily liver, snotburger, doo-doo head, smelly ass sniffer, irresponsible, douche-noggin, fool-ass clown, failure, lazy prick socket, ugly slut hammer, annoying as fuck, mediocre ment, crying baby on a plane, dead shit, itchy sweater, blowhard, dick-ass, frothy, elf-skin, footlicker, waste of human tissue. Hot damn, we finally get to this part. The author tells us that Fuckface definitely had the qualities of a psychopathic person. Wait a minute, I just have to jump in here and say, if the next chapter is going to be this long and this hard, I'm going to have to go to bed and slam the door. Areas in the brain where empathy and emotion are compromised, you think? As I've said all along, he is not of this world. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. Why did he? I mean, if there's like a simple answer, which I don't think there is. First, we need to start in childhood. What? Is she really going there? Hot damn. And then the chapter ends on this cliffhanger. But she just said it is important to say that environment and upbringing are not the reasons Chris killed his family. God almighty, son, what'd you do? Haul off the bodies or something? Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Damn, that's the end of the chapter. I don't know about y'all, but I am trying to process all of this new shit we just learned, and it's taking the fun out of it for me at the moment. But I'll get used to this angle. Took me a while to get used to looking at police body cam and interrogation videos without them being all fancied up for me. Well, I feel well versed now on narcissism and the varying types, and I've learned a lot about myself. I hope it sticks. To say Miss Lena delivered would be a gross understatement. No wonder people were getting mad at me when I would complain and bitch and say unkind things about her in the book. But that's me. Y'all know by now that I run my mouth, but I'm still lovable. It's all part of my engaging and charming personality. Plus, I'm probably a garden variety narcissist. And that will be the end of this video. And thank you for listening.